Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm excited to see all of these chairs filling up. We're gonna have a great time today. I'm super energized. I had about, I don't know, about 3.5 cups of coffee. So you guys have to have energy, you know what I mean? We've got a right lineup today as usual, right? And I just wanted to, first of all say welcome to those who are here in person, and for the folks who are joining us virtually, thank you as well. And I hope you can hear me. I don't lose this mindset. So I'm Liz Gusto. I'm the CEO and founder of PLA Executive Solutions, and I'm also a high-tech board member. Thank you. So just a quick question. Quick show of hands. How many folks in the audience, this is your first time when I do that? Wow, nice. Oh, you get that. The good thing about today is that we're going to be talking about the topic that's like so relevant to every single individual here, irrespective of what industry you're in. So, just one thing I want to ask you to do is listen, right? Listen, take a lot of notes, and just prepare for questions. So one of the things I want to just make sure a few housekeeping rules so I don't forget. We got closed caption today. So huge thank you to Sorensen Communications for closed caption. After each session, please, you will see a QR code. You don't see it right now, but you will. After every session, you'll see a QR code on the screen. And we ask that you please provide feedback. It takes like 30 seconds. We really value that feedback because we leverage that to continue to make improvements on these events. The third is we will have Q&A after every session. So as I mentioned earlier, please start thinking as you're listening to the conversations. This is a really good opportunity to hear from these incredible leaders. So just start thinking about questions you're going to ask. And then once when you raise your hand, if you have a question, Kelly will come around with the mic. And for those of you who are joining us virtually, I guess you can put your questions in the chat and Kelly will read them out. Bathrooms, I don't know where they are. They're, okay, they're signaling that way. So yeah. And then there's a network reception at 5 p.m. So that's going to be held at the Buttercup Room. Thank you, IBM. These headquarters are absolutely amazing at the college campus. It's beautiful. So anyway, I am now to officially kick us off. Before I introduce the speaker, I just have to share a really quick story. When I was new to technology and cyber many months ago, I was first introduced to high-tech. And, this is familiar, as people say. And I recall, not seeing a lot of people that look like me. And so kind of feeling, out of sorts, if you will. And there was someone who saw me, I like to say, who we have developed incredible friendship. She saw me in a way that I probably never been seen before, especially in this industry. We have an incredible relationship. She's a great fashionista outside of just being a baddie in the business world. But the quick story was she had asked me one day after getting to know each other a little bit. She said, "Hey, would you consider, would you think about being, high-tech advisory?" And I looked at her and I was like, "No, I'm really on board." So I'm looking at her and I'm like, "Really like you, right?" And here I am. So that's the power of high tech. That's the power of network. That's the power of connections. And you make these lasting friendships and connections that will last you throughout your career and then some. So without further ado, I want to welcome Miriam Hernandez Eccles to the stage. Miriam, thank you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. As Liz said, we're really excited to have you all here. Can everyone hear me? Okay, great. I'm getting a little teary-eyed every time someone tells stories like that because after a long time, it seems, I think since 2016, I'm actually rolling off the high-tech board this year, and I'm going to end being chair, which has been my honor for the last 2 years to be chair of this organization. So as a long-term passionista, yes, I am a fashionista, but I'm also a passionista. And anyone who knows me well knows that the things I care about are a passion for me. My granddaughter is a high-tech scholar. She's in the audience. She could tell you that I definitely never miss the things that I'm passionate about. I've been retired for, I think, 4 years now. I was a KPMG partner, and the last 3 years of being a partner at KPMG, I ran global consulting. So I got to travel all over the world, except the very last year, which was COVID. And then I got to build a brand new strategy for KPMG for global consulting on the phone with like 20 countries and like 75 people on the phone. And every morning I was at 5 in the morning on the phone, people would go, "How can you be so excited about this?" Like you're at 5. I don't know. When I get onto something and I have a passion, I'm really strong about it. So that's really just a little bit about me. But let me tell you, in these 4 years since I've been retired, I feel like I still have a full-time job. And one of them is being on the board of high tech. The things that I'm really passionate about are not dissimilar from all of you. My family, particularly my 6 grandkids, they're like my joy. My home in Mexico and the fact that I now get to spend 5 months out of the year living there, not just vacationing there. The friends that I've developed in this community, in high tech and all over the world. High tech and its mission, and I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. And then I'm a board advisor. I'm actually a board member of 4 other boards, 3 big corporate boards, one of them Toyota Financial. And I love, having been a former consultant, I love being a director on boards. And then, of course, I'm passionate about my health and golf and just staying healthy. But let's talk about high tech. Why and how did I become so passionate about high tech? Listen, for those of you who don't know me, I came as an immigrant to this country when I was 9 years old. We moved to a place in the Midwest where you had to assimilate. There was no, even the Mexicans who lived there didn't speak Spanish. And we immigrated from Guadalajara, Mexico. And so at age 9, I had to learn how to behave in a different culture, a different environment. But I was really blessed. My mother, who worked 3 jobs and made sure we went to the very best school, that was Catholic, of course, that was important for her. And that was all girls, that was also important for her. And I met a lot of amazing people and families who, unlike us, actually had money and had legacy, and they presented opportunities to me that I don't think most 9-year-old girls, period, most Latinas, and most immigrants would get. And those opportunities that were put in front of me back in the 1960s, imagine how unusual that would have been. Of course, now there are people who think, me being one of them, that we might be heading back to the 1960s. I hope not. So it's our job in this room to look forward and make sure that doesn't happen. But those opportunities that I received through the nuns, through the families, through the friends, through the mentors that I had, basically taught me that I could go get anything I wanted and that I wanted to be able to use my talents for something that was meaningful to me. So then I said, as I grew up and I took on a career, I want to make sure everyone gets an opportunity like I had to pick the career that you want, to work with the people that you want, and to really develop the important things that you're passionate about. And that's when I met high tech. I was just really waking up to that realization that I wanted to make these opportunities available for everyone, for every young girl, for every young person. And I was also in a deep technical path in my career because I worked at Bell Labs and then I went to KPMG to help them start their technical consulting business. And I said, wow, high tech, I can see it. I can see that high tech is a place where we can create opportunity that many can take advantage of, many can see, and that corporations can actually benefit from. So, passionate about high tech, but I've also been really passionate about growth. And why have I been really passionate about growth? when you're part of an immigrant community and your family comes to a country where you have to make something happen because you learn quickly for survival reasons how to grow personally, how to grow professionally, how to grow income for your family because you have no other choices. And those survival lessons, both on the personal front and eventually on the professional front, that's about realizing that dream that every mother and father has when they immigrate with their children to this country. That dream that my mother had that said to my sister and I when we woke up one day in Laredo, Texas, and said, "What the hell are we doing here? Why do we have to learn this other language?" She said, "Because I want you two girls to become whoever you want to be. And this is where we're going to do it." And so that ability to grow personally and professionally is very meaningful to me. And my mother taught me that at a very, very young age. I have 5 granddaughters and 1 grandson. And if there's something I preach to them every day is don't stop growing. Learn. Let me teach you what I learned so you don't have to learn it all over again. And I try to carry that spirit that I saw from my mother and my mentors and people right here in this community right back to my grandkids. In my career, I've been very proud to have been part of teams and led teams that have developed growth and that have created change from one decade to another. When I was at Bell Labs, I actually ran a group. By the way, I knew nothing about this, but for some reason they told me to go make it happen. We were introducing wireless service in the United States. At the time, okay, I'm old, all right? Don't start dating me. I feel young though. I had a group that was building the standards for something called PCS, which is what turned into cellular, which is what turned into the wireless services we all live and die by today. So think about that. I had a group of engineers who were writing the standards for how wireless industry works today. And then I was going to the International Telecommunications Union and convincing 80 other countries that they should adopt our standards. That is a growth opportunity. It taught me so much about myself. It taught me so much about other cultures. And it taught me about what a great place this world is if we can just all live by standards that matter and that we all value. Then I went to KPMG. They recruited me out of Bell Labs to come help build a tech consulting business. And so I did. I came to KPMG. There's a couple people here who I met. They were very young when I was recruited in as a direct entry partner to KPMG. And as part of KPMG, I had the opportunity to grow a technical consulting business. To grow, by the time I retired, 129 partners that were part of my organization. And that feeling of growth and the ability to give back is something that I know each and every one of you want to experience. And that really, as human beings, we owe back as stewards of this planet and as stewards of our families and our communities. And then came high tech. And I've been honored for the last few years to be part of an organization that really started, and there's some of you who were here then, I'm looking at one of them, who really started as a ground roots organization with foundational values about growing more tech leaders in the Hispanic community. And I had the honor to be on a board that helped grow that from, kind of a garage operation to the scaled organization with almost 80 sponsor companies that we have today. And that's been part of being part of these very strong, not only the boards, but also the communities and the sponsors and the partners that we have. And that growing that community has been one of the most meaningful things, probably next to my family, that I've done in my lifetime. And listen, I've had a pretty good career, but I would rate what we've been able to do with high tech on par or above that. So, as we have rebranded over the last 2 or 3 years what high tech means, the value to the businesses, to our partners, to the community, and to the economic well-being of this country, because tech leadership needs to grow. We all know that. As I have been a part of that, I think that it's so critical right now that the mission to continue that has never been clear, and that the time has never been more critical. The acceleration, the pace of change, the acceleration of technology and AI, it's not about it's coming, it's about it's here. And just even in the last 6 months, raise your hand if you don't believe the acceleration of AI is not what it was. It's so exponentially more than it was a year ago. Do you agree with that? I mean, the acceleration is unbelievable. And companies are making, they're making standards by which employees must utilize AI, making standards about how AI will be invested in. And it's not a tool, it's a change, a revolution in the organization and in the rest of the world that we live in. So it's really important that we as high tech really help to build new skills, that this community looks at everything with a much more open aperture. So as you all know, we're open to anyone. This isn't just about the Hispanic community, although I would say that the Hispanic community has traditionally been underleveraged. Forget about underrepresented. That's probably absolutely true. But what we need right now is to get to the talent that has been underleveraged, because we need it economically in this country. And given the headwinds that we face, given this acceleration that I talked about, I ask you to join high tech in helping us develop these skills so that we can build this new world that really represents what high tech is all about, right? We in this room are going to help build that new world based on foundational values like excellence, innovation, inclusivity, intentionality. This is high tech's purpose. And this is what I want each of you, every one of you, to leave with here today. I want you to walk out if you're a passionista, maybe not a fashionista, but a passionista that wants to lead into this new world as architects of growth. So enjoy the day, listen, learn a lot, and I will be asking each of you if you're a passionista when we are at the networking reception later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miriam.